Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's in such trouble. He's not just...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. It is the return of the Radical Race Series, and we're at round 2 of Season 3 of 2024. And we're off to Oulton Park International with no chicanes. I'm James Parfitt. I'm going to be joined in the booth by one Mr. Alex Goldschmidt, who's going to come and join us for this wonderful evening of races. We've got 2 races lined up. Don't forget, we've got a 10-lap sprint race, and then we've got a 17-lap feature with a top 10 reverse. If you haven't watched last week's round in Spa, please go and do it, because it was absolutely amazing. We had Simon Edwards taking the win in Heat 1, and then John McHutchison taking the win in Heat 2. But if you can imagine these little radicals hurtling down the Kemmel Straight, you will find at one point we were 3 wide, going nearly 4 down there as well. It was absolutely amazing, so please go and check that out. Right, in the championship standings at this moment in time, they don't really mean much, because we have only done round 1. John McHutchison out in front on 58 points, with Simon Edwards on 56, Paul Grab on 46, then Luke Maxwell on 45, Mike Booston on 43, Jamie Bird on 40, then Paul Clark on 39, Damien G on 30, then you got Robert Woodward 29, Seth Brown on 28. They're the top 10. Below that you got Phil Glover, Graham Brown, Michael LeMay, Phil Jocelyn, Joseph Emmett, David Rolliston. They're the only ones that are here so far that have scored points, so keep an eye as we go on. As I say, at the beginning of round 1, they don't really mean a lot. It's more rounds probably 6, 7 onwards that actually really makes a difference, so keep an eye out. It's going to be fun, it's going to be exciting, and let's bring in Mr. Goldschmidt into the booth and have a chat with him. Alex, welcome in, dear sir. How are you?
Good evening, JP. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, great to be alongside you, and great to be back with the Radical Race Series. It's one that's close to my heart, and obviously with his SR10s around this, probably, what, 2.5 mile circuit around here at Oulton Park, you know, we're going to see a lot more speed, folks. What I mean by that is coming through Shellowell's corner, and then, because you haven't got Britons, you haven't got Hislop, so it's a flat-out run to Knickerbrook down at the bottom of Hilltop, where we could see quite a few dramas, I think, before coming online tonight, folks, as we're not that far away from qualifying that will set the grid for the sprint race. We did see quite a few moments, which did include our good old friend, Mr. Netcode.
We did, miles away. And I'd see if I can actually find where that happened. That was Jamie Bird and Phil Glover. Jamie went off the circuit. I'm wondering if it might actually be this one before we change over. Not Jamie Bird, it was James Barry, sorry, wasn't it? Not Jamie Bird. It's,
Yeah, this is coming up Clay Hill and into Water Tower.
Yeah, this is the one with James Barry. If you keep an eye on Phil Glover, and then you can see how big of a gap there actually was absolutely ginormous. But if that's anything to go by, I think we're going to be in for a fun night, dude. I think it could be a fun evening.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's also going to be a case that if you are on pole position after qualifying, you know, that could put you in a really good place for the sprint race. Of course, as you said, top 10 reverse for the feature, which will be 17 laps. Of course, you know, another really good calendar here for Radical Race Series next week, we go to Red Bull Ring, then we go to Suzuka, Laguna Seca, Road Atlanta, Silverstone, Monza, Road America, Phillip Island, Sebring for the penultimate round on the 22nd of August, and then TBC, apparently, according to the official Radical Race Series website, for week 12 on August 29th. So I'm going to be pretty interested to see what happens. Good evening to our good friend, the JPB superfan that is Mr. Phil across the pond. Glad to have you along with us. And if you are watching, folks, don't forget to like, share, and also hit the subscribe button whilst you're at it. There's plenty of racing coming up in the days and weeks ahead here on the JP Broadcasting Network.
Absolutely. Sorry, caught me taking a bit of a drink there because I thought you were going to carry on talking. Yes, there is. There's loads of racing coming up as well. And I think it's throughout July, guys, it's absolutely flat manic. So pay attention. Moving on from next week. The TBC on the schedule, the winner of last season's championship normally picks the track. So that, of course, was James Barry. So he will have a pick of the circuit. So that's why it's to be confirmed. Because, where was it? I think round 11, we ended up at Nords as well. So, yeah, we'll see where we end up. But it's normally the winner of last season. So we'll keep an eye out and see who or what the situation is, whether or not they're going to put it to a vote there as well. Oulton Park. Now, I love this circuit in a way to sit and watch the racing. Now, if I raced on it, I'd probably get quite aerated due to the fact that you can position your car in the middle of the racetrack and no one can get past you. It's not the widest circuit.
Yeah, there's going to be quite minimal opportunities for overtaking. You might see some people getting brave going through into Cascades at turn 3, just after Denton's, off of the Avenue. There is a potential, obviously, with both chicanes not being in use. Obviously, Britain's and Hislop's now being effectively straight-lined. I think you could see, if you really hook it up going through Shell Oil's corner and you go tight to the apex, you could get a really good run coming out of the flat-out right-hander at turn 6, which is the approach into Britain's, and then possibly get the run down into Nickelbrook. But like you say, I mean, down the Kemmel Straight, you know, you can easily put, as we found out last week.
Down the where?
Down the Kemmel Straight.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry, I thought you said something else.
I was referring to last week when you said about 3 wide and then you're going 4 wide at one point.
Yeah, we ain't seeing that here.
Yeah, I think, you know, Cascades... Coming out of Cascades, running into Island Bend could be an opportunity, as long as you're not on the outside going into Island Bend, and it can end up straight off into the barriers. Dearly going into Old Hall Corner could be something you might be able to tee up, but it's proof in the pudding. It's, you know, whether you got the cojones to do it. But yeah, we are seeing some sector times coming in. Mike Bousson in the 666, quickest in sector 1, Luke Maxwell quickest in sector 2, Simon Edwards, a multi-time champion of the series, I think 5 times if I remember correctly. 6 now. He's just gone 6. My goodness me. The wonders never cease, and that's why he keeps on staying in this championship, because he's I think, what was it, on the stats as per the official website, that the total distance covered over all race seasons so far in the Radical Race Series has been over 135,000 miles. That's a lot of distance.
Yes, they do run regularly with the iRacing seasons, so there is about 4 per year. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys get on. Now, for some reason, me and Alex could not work out. iRacing has split Oulton Park into 6 sectors. We can't work out why that is. There should be only 3. 1 about now, 1 round the other side, and 1 at the end. But, you know, hey, who are we to make the sectors here, Alex? We just go with what we're given. And at the moment, we're giving Simon Edwards out on front on a 120.077. James Barry's got a purple on the board with 2 greens as well before he goes on his journey and his venture. And as I say that, Simon puts 2 purples in the first 3 sectors.
Yeah, which has quickly changed. John McHutchinson's just gone up to 5th behind Jorge Gonzaga, And it's pretty close between the top 6, rounded out by Mr. Paul Clark and the number 24. Just over 4/10 cover them. It was James Barry. Now makes it the top, the top 5 covered by just under a quarter of a second. John McHutchinson just under 3/10 off of provisional pole. But Mike Bousson looking very racy in the 666. He's only like 4/100ths off, if that, 38 thousandths off, and then Simon Edwards goes in, puts in an absolute howitzer. 1 minute 19.531. Incredible pace, but not at all a surprise from the 6-time Radical Race Series champion.
Yeah, he's definitely the special one. George Gonzaga there, sitting in 5th place at the moment. He's coming round the final corner, which is Lodge, and then up through Deer Leap, then through to the left-hand. I should keep it to the left-hand side, I would have thought. Don't want to drag it out too far. Over the line he's going to go. Where does Gonzaga finish off? He stays where he is, I believe, on a 1:20.213. So no improvement there. Luke Maxwell, the newly joined Team Radline driver this season, has come in and joined up with John McHutchison and Mike Bousson, and of course Paul Crabb. So yeah, quite a fearsome foursome they have there within Team Radline. Is doing a stellar job at the moment here as well. Missed a few races last season, kind of jeopardised his championship by not being here. There was a rumour he was at a Taylor Swift concert. I can't confirm or deny that one, Mr. Goldschmidt. All I know, Taylor Swift did appear on a GT4 car that I saw Luke in. So I'm not quite sure if that was true or not. But Luke goes and puts himself in 2nd.
I was going to say, wasn't that on the roof of his BMW M4 GT4, if I remember correctly?
Yes, sir, it was. Whether or not he knew it was there was a different matter, to be honest.
He probably found out after we talked about it on the broadcast.
Probably, yeah.
Which was absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, so he did miss a couple of, so hopefully he'll be back and be able to get a good season under his belt as well. I'm sure he'll be up there. Gonzaga goes over the line he was in 6th. He's now gone into 3rd on a 1:19.573. Times are improving and getting quicker and quicker. James Barry's another one that's going to probably improve on his time as well. Jamie Bird goes and puts himself up into 8th as well. So great run from Jamie Bird there. Did a stellar job as well last time out in the feature. He finally got over the voodoo of when he qualifies well, the first race goes poorly, but the first race went okay, and then the feature normally goes poorly, but the feature actually, he finished 5th in the feature last week. So he finally broke that hoodoo of every time he goes well in the first race, the second race goes completely Pete Tong. But he did an absolutely stellar job and managed to get 5th in the second race, so big shout out to him. Edwards has just gone 1:19.467. That was after Barry took it on a 1:19.476. This is where we're kind of expecting the times to start to drop now, Alex, due to the fact that we're getting towards the end of the session. Tyre life dropping off within the cars, and of course these guys have got to try and find tenths and thousandths at the moment. It's not always easy to find.
Especially if it's not like just over a 10.5 with 2 3/4 to go. I mean, John McHutchison's still got a lot of time. LeMay has had a couple of off tracks in the 777 car. Phil Glover's just had a moment of his own, and he's currently running P10 in the wonderful Toyota Celica WRC throwback at Castrol Racing livery. James Barry at the minute has done personal bests in sectors 1, 2, and 4. He's about to come across the stripe now. Is that going to be an improvement from him? It wasn't far off. It was 8/1000ths off of his personal best in the session. Well, his personal best in the session so far that literally saw him be the only person that went faster than Simon Edwards. But yeah, like you say, I mean, Michael LeMay's pulled it into pit lane, so that might be him calling time on qualifying. But I think there's still opportunities. I mean, Luke Maxwell was very quick through sectors 2 and 6.
He improves, he gets faster, but he only goes into 3rd. So Luke does make an improvement, but he only goes third on a 1:19.482. Gonzaga has got a purple on the board, but he's offset by 4 yellows, which means he's not got personal bests, or is obviously, personal bests. I was going to say something else then, but that probably would have confused you. So he hasn't got personal bests in sectors 1, 2, 4 and 5, but he has got the best sector 3, 1:19.493, an improvement from George, but doesn't make the verge to the top spot. James Barry is another one that's got purples and greens on the board, followed by a couple of yellows.
Yeah, could be very, very close as James Barry comes through out of Deer Leap and across the line. Is this going to be an improvement for Barry? Yes! Oh, by over a 10. Over a 10. He pulled that one like the rabbit out of the magician's hat to James Barry. Absolutely sterling lap from the number 12. A 1:19.351. What does Simon Edwards have? Well, it's yellows all across the board for the 6-time champion. And on that particular occasion, I think he's going to call it time on qualifying. Yeah.
No, you can't get another lap in. Time's running down here, Alex, but we both of us sat there with bated breath in silence until the time come on the board. James Barry, a 1:19.31, absolutely flying. David G goes over the board, puts himself up into 8th on a 1:20.263, so great run from him. What about Seth Brown? Equals Day goes into the pits. I don't believe David Beasley's going to get a nap in. I think that is going to be it for the remainder of this one. So here is the grid for your sprint race. 10 laps here. These drivers have got to get through this very tricky circuit. It's James Barry out in first with Simon Edwards in second, Luke Maxwell in third, then George Gonzaga in fourth, Paul Clark in fifth, and then John McCutcheon in sixth. Then you got Mike Bousson, Damien G, Jamie Bird, Michael LeMay, Phil Glover, and Seth Brown, followed by David Beasley at the back. So hold on to your hats, guys. This is going to be one of them another epic evening of racing here, and I think, to be honest, the fight and the battle will begin here, Alex, between James Barry, Simon Edwards, Luke Maxwell, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen it before where John McCutcheon in this series hasn't qualified all the best, but then his race pace is something completely different, where I've seen him go from like probably mid-pack to the front end of the field very, very quickly within 2 to 3 laps. But if John's not getting on with the car around this circuit, then that could be a little bit of hindrance rather than the help. So, but yeah, like you say, the people at the front, I mean, Barry throwing the warning shot across the bow of Simon Edwards in qualifying, well, at this early point in the season, you've got to try and get every psychological advantage you can get.
Yes, sir. We've got a couple of more to get onto the grid. James Barry. And we've got the Radline boys, Luke Maxwell, Mike Bousson, but we're just waiting for James at the front. He's got about 30 seconds to get on to the grid. I'm sure he'll make it. Well, for his sake, I hope he'll make it. But let's see what he does here. There we go. James Barry is on the grid and ready to go. The lights are going to be coming on. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... And now we are green here. The race is up and running. James Barry takes the whole shot down into turn 1. Simon Edwards running tucked in behind him. Then Luke Maxwell, George Gonzaga were side by side. Oh, McCutcheon's gone round. John McCutcheon has gone round already, and we've only just got round turn 1. And the Scotsman, unfortunately, goes round. Got Jamie Bird alongside. Oh, Bird had a bit of a slide on. Had a little bit of a slide on there, Alex. Got a bit of a twitch and gave John McCutcheon a little kiss that sent him round.
Yeah, right front to left rear, and John McCutcheon doing the 360. Didn't want to do Gymkhana. He wanted to go forwards rather than spinning round. But yeah, James Barry had a pretty good start. I mean, Jorge Gonzaga, we actually did see trying to look up the inside of Luke Maxwell going through into Old Hall Corner. But had to back out of it very, very quickly indeed. It's now making their way underneath the bridge here at Clay Hill on the run down to Water Tower before the right-hander here at Druids, before they filter their way underneath the Warwick Bridge. But have an initial getaway to the tune of about 0.4 of a second after nearly the opening lap, whereas Luke, we're riding on board with Mike Busson in the 666 closing in on Gonzaga. Well, it's actually we're on board with Maxwell. So Edwards is piggy in the middle at the moment, and the gap between the top three after the opening lap here, James, is about 7/10 of a second. As again they go through Old Hall, and then they're going to head down the hill, down the avenue into Denton's, and then into this very, very precarious left-hander with a nice little bit of left camber as well to boot through Cascades.
Yeah. Great run so far. I do love watching these little radicals go hurtling around here on board with Paul Clark. He's looking down into Mike Busson. Round Shell Oils they go, the right-hander. Mike manages to hold on. Whether or not it's better to use some of the slight little banking you have got or hug the inside line. Well, they all chose to hug the inside line. Mike's dropping slightly back from Gonzaga. McHutchison's into the pits. Everybody else further back is a little bit more spread out at the moment. All the way down from Jamie Bird and Damien G. You can see there as well Mike LeMay, Paul Glover, Phil Glover, Seth Brown and David Beasley. But it's up this front end. James Barry round the right-hander now on his run down into Lodge, managing to hold on to the lead. Simon Edwards has got Luke Maxwell for company. George Gonzaga's not too far behind with Mike Busson and Paul Clark. We could have a nice little tidy six-way fight for the lead here from from James Barry's point of view. Sorry, he's just got to position it in the middle of the track. We know how hard it is to overtake here.
Yeah, it's just going to be a case of just picking your moments here, and Gonzaga's got a real good run on Maxwell heading down into Denton and then into Cascades, but again you've got to have that discretion being the better part of valor sort of strategy. You've got to pick your moments around here at Oulton Park, and it's never easy. You're having to deal with significant camber, elevation changes, and then also a tight circuit with barriers that will not be that forgiving if you put a foot wrong. We did see a couple of incidents like we saw with regards to James Barry and Phil Glover in free practice, but on board on the roll hoop here with Gonzaga, you can see the speed that they're picking up. They're nearly bouncing off the rev limiter on the approach into Knickerbrook, and you know they're taking that corner at fourth gear at 110 miles an hour. Now we're building the speed up to fifth, 140, and Gonzaga's nearly bouncing off the rev limiter as they go through into the right-hander here at Druids, and you know Maxwell trying not to overcompensate with the throttle modulation, and Gonzaga's looking every which way but loose to try and get past. And at the minute, Maxwell's just making that Team Radline car as wide as humanly possible.
Yep, he is, and that's the thing, isn't it? Even from Mike Busson's perspective further back as well, he's trying to make a move on Gonzaga. Gonzaga's trying to make a move on Maxwell. Busson's just gone and done the fastest lap on a 1:19.612. An incredible job. Round the left-hander of Cascades we go on the run down into Islands. He's a little bit slower through Cascades rather than over the top five. The top five seem to be a little bit quicker here. Down into Shell Oils they go, the right-hander again. Whether or not is that same Mel saying, would you use the banking? They all seem to use that banking, Alex. They don't really hug the inside curb, but I suppose they don't need to be able to carry speed round that banking of Shell Oils.
No, I mean Gonzaga was actually the tightest towards the curbing on the inside, in comparison with Luke Maxwell, who was about half a car width further away in order to carry that speed through. And you know, again coming through down Hilltop and into Knickerbrook, you can see that Maxwell able to plant the car a little bit easier through that nigh-on flat-out right-hander before you go into Clay Hill and Water Tower, and you're still full on the throttle because you're going up an elevation change. And now Simon Edwards, as we are going to head on to lap 5 out of 10, well, the gap at one point was 0.8 of a second. Simon Edwards has got that down to under 3.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying into turn 1. We go in through Old Hall. Now on the run down the avenue through Denton's down into Cascades, the left-hander. If he's going to make a run, he's got to have a go now. He doesn't want to be on the outside of Islands. We've discussed why already, partly because if you do get Islands wrong and there is contact from the car on the inside, you are going onto the grass. The only fortunate thing is you can now stop the car before it used to be in the tyre barrier on the right-hand side. But he's got to wrap up. Shell Oils, Barry goes in a little bit wider, uses the banking, utilises it now. Round the right-hander on the run, we've got all the way down into Knickerbrook. Is this going to be the move from Simon Edwards? Is this where he's going to make his go? He's going to make his stand. He's trying again. It's just difficult to overtake. Just couldn't quite get there this time around.
he was flat chat, full throttle, with 2 wheels. The right-hand side wheels were on the grass on the approach downhill top from Simon Edwards. He was going completely banzai to see if he could make that move stick on James Barry, but Barry left him enough room to facilitate the move, but didn't leave him enough room to make it happen. But Gonzaga, in the meantime, and Maxwell are starting to close on in. Now that Barry and Edwards have engaged into battle, as we head on to lap 6 out of 10, Gonzaga new fastest lap of the race, 1:19.508, and he's right up the rear wing of Luke Maxwell, going through into Cascades. He's really got to start making a run of it, as Barry now extends that lead to about 4.5 tenths of a second on the run down through Lakeside into Island Bend and then Shell Oil's corner at turn 5.
Yeah, looking back for the rear end of Maxwell's car. Here comes Gonzaga. Now through Shallow as we go. This is where we're expecting the run going to happen from Simon Edwards up front as well. Is Edwards going to be able to make the move over James Barry? Looks like he's too far back. Barry's opened a bit of a gap now, 6 tenths. Luke Maxwell is all over Simon Edwards. Gonzaga's all over Maxwell. They've all been putting the hours in this week. You can tell the difference because they are literally going to be tooth to nail. They're not very far apart on last lap times. 1:19.51 from Gonzaga, the fastest lap of the race. 5.2 from Luke Maxwell, 19.87 and a 19.76 respectively from James Barry and Simon Edwards. So they are going to commence. Bousson and Paul Clark drop back a little bit from this pack, haven't quite got the pace, but look at Gonzaga on that run there, Alex. He got an absolutely flying coming out of Lodge, just couldn't quite make it up through Deer Leap. Now he's going to go into Oulton and he's still staying in 4th place.
Yeah, again, it's just that, you know, just how much you're going to throw caution to the wind. And Gonzaga looking to the outside at Cascades of all places at turn 3. Well, that's not going to work. If he was on the inside, he might have made the move, but credit where credit is due to Jorge Gonzaga for having the absolute biggest stones in the paddock to try and get through on Luke Maxwell round the outside at Cascades. A Herculean effort, and now he's deep on the race, going through into Shallow Oil's corner. Now this could be the opportunity for Gonzaga to get the run going into Knickerbrook.
Yeah, here we go now, up the hill, George Gonzaga. Through he goes on the right-hand side. Is he going to take the outside line through Knickerbrook? There is Luke Maxwell looking forward. Are they going to be able to make this work? Oh, no! He did, and then he didn't, and then he almost, and then he just didn't in the end. It
was like, yes, yes, yes. No. It's like me shouting out the word Clarkson, you know. Yeah. But to see the, you know, the guts and the wherewithal for Gonzaga to give that a try, you know, you got to give props to him. You got to doff your cap to him for trying that. But whilst that's happened, that's put now a gap between Edwards and Maxwell to the tune of nearly 1.6 seconds between 2nd and 3rd place. So now Edwards can stop worrying about the 2 battling warriors behind him and now can try and concentrate on Barry, because including this, we've got 3 to go, and they have got John McHutchinson up ahead, who was in the pits for 43 seconds for repairing damage after that 360 through Old Hall Corner on the opening lap. Yeah,
tanglement with Jamie Bird sent him round there, unfortunately for John. Jamie Bird got a little bit loose on the exit, just gave John a slight little touch, and unfortunately it doesn't mean you don't have to do it a lot here in these radicals. You know, some say they're made of cardboard, others say they're not really sure, because it is literally quite a light car with not a very tough body shell over the top of it. Edwards is trying to go after Barry once more. Gonzaga's just not given up on Maxwell. There they are in the background there as well. Bousson still holding back Paul Clark, and then everybody else is a little bit more spread out. I'd be surprised if they catch John McHutchinson. I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing around about the same sort of times. He is 1:19.84, 1:19.79 last time out for the leader, so he's not too far off. I don't think he's going to be caught, but Gonzaga's trying once more. Oh, he did get the job done that time.
Oh, that was a beauty. He pulled it around the outside through Lodge Corner, it looks like, and got through at Deer Leap. So Gonzaga making a brilliant move on Luke Maxwell to wrestle away P3 from the 118. Gonna have a look at it again. Well, we're gonna have a look now at the...
Hold on, sorry. For some reason it played the wrong one. There we go.
Yeah, so you can just see the run he got out of Deer Leap and Lodge Corner. Just kept it around the outside, carried the momentum, maybe had a bit more throttle application, and now that's put him in a really good place. Of course, that's going to put him, what, 8th on the grid for the reverse top 10. But still, well, very soon we're going to have the white flag out, and James Barry has got Simon Edwards charging towards him. The gap is about 0.4 of a second. But at the minute, well, Edwards tried and had one opportunity to get through, and that was the run coming out of turn 6, then the long run downhill, top and into Knickerbrook. But he's only got 2.5 miles after the next corner to do so, as Maxwell going toe-to-toe, side by side, on the run down to Lodge Corner with Jorge Gonzaga, and they're wheel to wheel. Maxwell to the outside. This could allow Buson to go through. White flag in the air, and Barry leads us onto the final lap ahead of Edwards, Gonzaga, Maxwell and Buson. And look at the battle for P3. It's really kicked off with Mike Buson joining the fray.
Yeah, they were literally going at each other. For some reason, I thought that was the final lap. That's why I picked on James Barry, come away. I should have looked at the timing screen there as well. But this would be the final lap now. These guys having a right little ding-dong. Gonzaga is chased down by the 2 orange machines of the Team Radline drivers. Edwards trying to get Barry in the right-hand side there. You've just seen him flash past your picture. Tut-tut, nose to tail again. The gap is coming down up front. It's 5/10. It's dropping down. This is another one. This is close. This is going to be even closer when they come down Knickerbrook. Who's going to get this? Is Maxwell going to have a go? I don't think he is, Alex. I just don't think he's got enough sitting there this time around.
No, not at all. If he had more overspeed, if he was a little bit closer, but now he's going to try and go through Clay Hill and into Watertower. He's within striking distance, but into Druids. Maxwell on the same racing line as Gonzaga, but Gonzaga defending as he's rightfully entitled to as they go through into Ward's Lodge Corner for the final time, but leader's about to come across the stripe for the checkered.
Yeah, James Barry goes over the line. He takes the victory in race number 1 with Simon Edwards behind. Gonzaga did survive Deer Leap. He does come over in third. Maxwell, Buson, Paul Clark behind him. We got Seth Brown catching up with Phil Glover. That's going to be an interesting one as these guys come down into Lodge as well. Seth in his familiar green and pink machine. Seth Brown tucks up underneath. It's going to be a run. Brown did him as well. He switched him back at Lodge. Oh, Seth Brown. Take a bow, son. You've had a lonely race right up to that moment there as well. Great move by Seth Brown.
Yeah, last corner, last lap of the race, and gets the job done. I think, well, Phil probably saw him coming and went, he might have the run on me here. I don't want to have any netcode issues like I had in free practice, and yeah, Brown just did him good and proper, and it was a clean move, a very respectful clean move, but we are waiting for the Flying Scotsman, John McHutchinson. Obviously, we'll see what's going to happen in race 2, the 17 lap feature race coming up shortly, but yeah, well, you know what they say, hell hath no fury than a Scotsman scorned, and we could see that in race 2 coming up next.
Yeah, what will the William Wallace of SR10, what will he do? We're going to find out as he'll be starting 13th on the grid. James Barry is your winner. Don't forget top 10 reverse, thank you very much. He will go into 10th place. Simon Edwards alongside him in 9th. Then you're going to have Gonzaga finished in 3rd with Luke Maxwell 4th. Mike Buson in 5th. Paul Clark 6th. Jamie Bird in 7th. Damien G in 8th. Seth Brown in 9th. We've got Phil Glover on pole, everyone. Let's see what he can do here with David Beasley, Michael LeMay and John McHutchison. He'll be sat in that car thinking, what is James saying about me now? Well, Phil, all I'm going to say is go for it, son. Have a right old tear up out there, mate. As Phil Glover as well. Don't forget, this is the man who's in VR and motion simulator.
Yeah. So if you, I was just about to say, and if you don't like that, you'll be in hurl motion.
Yes.
We've had hurl cam mentioned before in a broadcast between you and I, haven't we?
We have.
So
yes.
yeah, if you don't like VR and full rig motion, then you are going to be on complete hurl motion on that one. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Toyota Celica WRC tribute band that is Phil Glover when he starts on pole position. But yeah, a great way to start the evening. You couldn't really see, you know, we both said it was going to be difficult to overtake. Yes, that was very much the case. But now you know, the track temperatures are elevated for race 2. Of course, you've got to conserve the tyres a little bit. You've got to be a lot more strategic than in race 1. And of course, with race 2, there are more points on offer, if I remember correctly, James.
Yes, you are correct. That one, sir. So obviously for race 2, they will score more points than they did in race 1. It's 40 for the win in race 2, 25 for the win in race 1. Don't forget there are bonus points. 3 bonus championship points will be awarded to any driver who finishes a race without incurring a single incident point. So keep an eye out. Drop rounds, free drop rounds for the season. So should be interesting to see what happens. I'm wondering how Phil Glover is going to take sitting on pole position. Let's see how he gets on. Can Phil have a good old tear up at the front, or is he going to end up losing places further back? Well, for my own excitement, I hope he does have a good old go, Alex. There's nothing like I love more than a good old trier on pole position.
Yeah, and it's always nice to mix it up a little bit with regards to an inverted, like, say, top 10 or top 15, depending on what league you race in. And, yeah, it's going to be a fascinating spectacle that we're going to watch. Good evening to our learned friend, Mr. Craig Jones, has jumped into chat. Evening, Craig.
Just in time for what plans to be a 17-lap humdinger of a race, Mr. Jones. Hope you are well and recovered from your nice getaway that you had recently in Egypt. There you go. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And the feature race, the 17-lap feature is off and running. Phil Glover's got the jump at the beginning. For how long is he going to hold it? Jamie Bird's tucked in. He takes second place on the inside. He's done it again, Jamie Bird. He's hit the curb, he got loose, and it was Seth Brown this time that he's come to contact with. Seth's gone round and now dropped down the order. Gonzaga and Edwards running side by side. Paul Clark running side by side with Bousson as well. Who's going to come through this one? Island side by side. Yay, 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 yay. And it is Phil Glover taking the lead, but poor old Jamie Bird, he's 2 for 2 on that turn 1.
Yeah, start as you mean to go on for number 39 there. Yeah, just a real shame because Seth Brown has succumbed to the same fate as John McHutchinson, who's already up 4 places and is running 9th, whereas Jamie Bird is going to go around the outside at Knickerbrook. Oh, that's a bit close for around the outside manoeuvre, but Phil Glover's going straight back at him. Go. Great stuff, Phil.
Yeah, go for it, Phil. Have some. As he's back. Oh, there's Luke Maxwell come peering past us as well. Did Luke manage to keep that on the track? He did not.
No, he didn't.
No, he did not. Unfortunately for Luke, he did come in like an absolute banshee and has now dropped all the way down into 12th. We'll have a quick look back and see. As you can see him try and go round the outside. There was no contact. He just goes in, gets 2 wheels on the grass, and unfortunately he's dropped all the way to the back of the order. Jamie Bird out in front by 1.1 second. Mike Bousson's just overtaken Phil Glover there as well. Glover's got Barry for company. Barry's got Clark. Clark's got McHutchison, and somewhere in there is Simon Edwards. So John McHutchison, 7 places, and we're only on lap 2. Alex, he's making an absolute barnstorming start.
Yeah, Seth Brown looks to be out of the race, I'm afraid, James, as James Barry trying to look up nose up the inside of Phil Glover going through into Island Bend at T4 as Barry's trying to go around the outside of Shell Oils. Is he going to make it work? This could be an absolute howitzer remove. He's going to put it around the outside of Phil Glover, and he's ahead. That is brilliantly timed by James Barry. Went high, wide and handsome at turn 5 at Shell Oils corner. And there's Paul Clark, who's just literally used the slipstream assist from James Barry and go, Phil, see you later.
Yeah, it looks like Phil either slowed down or checked up there for some reason. And now he's got John McHutchison has just overtaken him. Unfortunately, Phil's going backwards quicker than he's been going forwards. David Beasley has been off the side of the circuit and is unfortunately out there. Simon Edwards has just gone up the inside of Glover. Now we've got Gonzaga. Is he going to go up round Glover as well? Glover comes up through Deer Leap. He's left it high wide there. Gonzaga had something to think about. Bousson set the fastest lap at a 1:26.45. Gonzaga's gone up the inside. Damien G's now going to try and go around the outside on the run down into Cascades. It's going to be a big brave boy here because behind him is Luke Maxwell's trying to come back as well. These three having a right little humdinger at the back of the order.
Yeah, they're like the three children mucking around in the playground, battling over the last swing. And Luke Maxwell just went, yep, there we go, right, round the outside. And he's going to do a James Barry, if he can, through Shell Oil's corner. Well, that's going to be on Damien G. Looks like David Beasley has also ended up out of the race as well. So we're down to 11 SR10s on the circuit here. Let's see what actually happened.
Oh, he's at the grass.
Oh, and he's gone, left side is an absolute mess, and it's knackered the rear wing on the left-hand side too. McHutchinson has ended up in pit lane. Big drama for the Scotsman.
He went off track, he come back on track, and then went off track again. Oh!
That's not going to buff out easy.
No.
That's what we saw with James Barry and Phil Glover, only the fact McHutchinson went off all on his own. He's wrestling the steering, he's gone wide, and then he's tried to correct it. Back end stepped out the other side, bang. Front end gone straight in on the other side on the run up to Clay Hill from Knickerbrook. That was a big old impact.
I had a big moment of deja vu there, because did you see the car that went past him?
Was it Phil Glover by any chance?
Yes. I did literally watch as he goes through.
No.
He goes across the track. No. He comes back the other way, and we saw that in practice. And Phil was thinking, probably, no, not again.
I don't want lightning striking twice.
Yes. Internet, be good. Please be good. Buson's going to go and send it on the inside of James Barry. Jamie Bird, sorry. Mike Buson, the man from Froome in Somerset, spends most of his week driving tractors, is now in an SR10 on a Thursday, absolutely smashing it there as well. Great move from Mike with over Jamie Bird. Barry's in third. Then we've got Edwards, Clark and Gonzaga. They're nose to tail. Maxwell, G and LeMay, they're nose to tail behind that. Phil Glover's tucked in there. Paul Clark's on the inside defending stoutly here. McHutchinson's out. I'm not surprised after that big old crash there as well. Craig Jones, that corner is a nightmare. Talking about turn one. He didn't, as he's obviously come a bit of a cropper there. Gonzaga and Clark having a little bit of contact on through turn one as well here, Alex. This is getting hotter than a spicy vindaloo in a curry house.
Oh, they've definitely got their elbows out and sharpened more to the point that they're nigh on razor blades. And Craig says this is some awesome racing. Yes, it has been like this all night as Gonzaga fires it up the inside through Island Bend to retake 5th place from Paul Clark, who got himself, I think, a little bit caught up on the curbing on the entrance into Shallow Oil's corner. And now he's got Luke Maxwell breathing around the outside of him. Luke Maxwell goes off again. 2 wheels on the grass, coming out of turn number 6, but he's still got the throttle planted. They're going to be hitting the best part of nearly 155 miles an hour. And then they're going to have to lift off, drop it down a gear into Knickerbrook here at about 110 miles an hour. Well, you can give Luke Maxwell an A for effort for trying to keep it pinned around the outside whilst keeping the throttle pinned, but back on board with Jamie Bird, who's now got Heat 1 winner. James Barry writes on his case.
Booston had a little bit of a swap there as well. He had a bit of a slide coming out of Lodge. He managed to hold it. Bird's closing in. Barry's closing into the back here as well. We've got 3 cars. Then we've got, well, one, I'm going to say 1.5 because Gonzaga's not quite up to the back end of Edwards just let. Then we've got another further 4 cars behind that one having a right little ding-dong here as well. That draft is keeping Jamie Bird into the back of Mike Buson. Through islands they go, round the left-hander. Now they're going to go into Shell on the brakes as soon as they see the dirt patch. There's a little dirt patch on the right hand, on the left-hand side. As soon as you see that, start applying the brakes, getting that car slowed down. Round the right-hander, this could be Barry's opportunity now on the run up over the hill, Alex, down into Knickerbrook, and James Barry's going for it.
Yeah, he's looking to plant it around the outside, goes to the left of Jamie Bird in the number 39, but Bird just keeps it completely pinned, but runs wide on the run up to Clay Hill, and Barry still keeps it pinned round the outside, 2 wheels on the grass and through at Water Tower. Barry gets through on Bird for P2. Great little tee up there by the number 12, who now has the fastest lap of the race in his pocket. And now he can chase down for possibly a double victory tonight, because the only person he's got in front of him is now the 666 of Mike Buson, who I have noticed a couple of times coming through Old Hall Corner, especially on the previous lap. Mike Buson having a little bit of a tank slapper whilst applying the power coming out of turn 1.
Yeah, he's managed to do it that time around though, but he's wishing Bird would catch back up with Barry. I can tell you that much. He needs Bird and Barry to have a good, right little ding-dong. We'll check in with these guys very, very shortly. Let's go back down to Clark, who's got G and Michael LeMay. The two brothers racing Michael LeMay. Paul's not here this evening, but these guys are going for it. Hell to lever as well. Through Island they go. Clark in that 24 Dale Gordon representative livery on the Radical SR10. Round Shell Oils. G's coming up right behind him now. Only 4 tenths back. That gap is going to close. We're already down to 3. Now 3.5. We're 3-4, 3-3, 3-2, 3. Down below 2 tenths now. G is coming in at a rapid rate of knots. Is he going to be able to get him down into Knickerbrook? He pokes his nose out, lets him know he's there, but he doesn't quite get the job done, Alex. Where is he going to get it done over this last half of this lap?
Yeah, you need to be about a couple of car lengths behind, like I would say 2 to 2.5, to get the maximum effect of the slipstream around the circuit here at Oulton Park. Because otherwise, if you're 3-4 car lengths, yeah, you'll get that initial feeling of a slight bit of a slipstream. But if you're really up close and personal, you've got to be within, I'd say, 2 to 2.5 tenths to really, really make that work. And now the gap between Paul Clark and Damien G has gone up to 3.5 tenths. So G's got to be a bit more, let's say, throw the caution to the wind when it comes to the corners a little bit more. Just be a bit more aggressive, but don't overcommit, because if you overcommit, then you could end up going a little bit too wide on the exit out of the corner. Yeah. I mean, that wasn't too bad. I mean, if he'd been all 4 wheels off track, then that would be a different matter altogether. So I did see someone lock up a wheel or two in front of Simon Edwards. I think that might have been Jamie Bird, possibly. He's now lost time to James Barry, and that's to the tune of 1.3 seconds. Michael LeMay now ahead of Damien G in the battle for 8th place. We're running aboard with Jorge Gonzaga. He's trying to close down on Simon Edwards. This is the battle for P4 and 5. Just under 4 tenths covering the two. I mean, Gonzaga showed how committed he was last time out in Heat 1. And the gaps are just spreading out a little bit more in this, as we're getting towards we're around about halfway through this 17-lap race at Oulton Park International here, James. And, Barry has just put in another new fastest lap of the race. He was over a tenth and a bit quicker than Mike Buson, who must now be getting a little bit worried that Barry's got that pace underneath him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Buson can do. He's not crazy, and he is a little bit wily, right? He's been around the block a few times as Mike. He's that taxi driver who will take you anywhere you want to go because he knows where he's been. And this is the thing. He knows his way round Oulton Park. He knows where he can position his car. Barry's going to have to work for it. It just depends with whether or not Buson's going to fight for it. I'm hoping he does. I'm hoping they have a right hell to lever little ding dong here as well, but Barry's got on the outside. They're going to drop down the other side. What's Boost? Oh, Mike! I honestly thought he could have kept that in the inside line there. I really did.
Yeah, you can look at it from that perspective, but you could also look at it from another perspective. We don't know how bad the tyres are degrading for Barry and Buson. So if Buson's decided, you know what, I'm going to conserve a little bit. I'm going to let Barry, drag me along around the track. So that will give Buson a little bit more impetus to keep with him and say, well, you know what, the win's not out of the question yet. James Barry, as I say that, responds with the new fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 19.526. If Buson keeps within half a second, at least, I think he's got an opportunity of maybe trying to get the jump done on Barry, but that's going to be easier said than done.
I wouldn't have let him through. I've got to be honest, knowing how quick Barry's been and how much he was fast in race 1, he's just done a fastest lap of the race that's half a second quicker than Mike Buson's last lap, nearly 2 tenths faster than Mike's best lap And James Barry did that 10 laps into a 17 lap race last time around. So for Mike, I'd be very, very worried. 5th gear through Knickerbrook now, up through Clay Hill, coming into the left-hander of the water tower, then through Druids. Mike's got to try and stay with him through Druids here, Alex. He cannot afford to lose any more of this draft. He needs this draft to pull him in, to give him an opportunity, not even coming out of Old Hall, but he's got to stay close, because he's got to try and get him down into Cascades or down into Islands. Surely that's going to be his opportunity. The rest of the circuit's just too tight.
Yeah, I agree there. It's just the case of, you know, how hard do you want to push on a particular lap? Is the person in front of you going to make an unforced error? Because that can happen. We've seen it in multiple different leagues, you and I, where the leader has been controlling proceedings and then there has been one misstep. And that one misstep has caused havoc for the leader, and the person in second position has straight away profited. So this could be a little bit of a strategy call from Mike Bousson. Like I said earlier, he might be doing a little bit of conservation, but he's also going to keep Barry very, very honest. Meantime, we go back to the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th, which now involves Jamie Bird, Simon Edwards, and we're running on board with the driver in 5th position, Jorge Gonzaga from Portugal, who is trying to close in on the 6-time RRS champion.
Yeah, he's got Edwards in front of him at the moment as Gonzaga. Oh, Bird bounces the car. You saw him there as well. This is where Edwards is going to close in. You can see Edwards is slower from Gonzaga over 6, 7, 8, but he's been literally minutes faster. Now Gonzaga's going to have to try and go again. Is he going to go around the outside? We've seen him pick him up and stick him in his pocket before when he tried the outside on Luke Maxwell. In race 1, Bird gets a slide coming out of Old Hall, out of Lodge Corner, up through Deer Leap. Now he's still managing to hold on, but Simon Edwards has got Mr. Gonzaga stacked right in behind him here, Alex. And Gonzaga's having a right little go. He's not letting Simon Edwards breathe, but Edwards is now going to have to worry about Jamie Bird going in front of him.
Well, that's the thing. When you're piggy in the middle, you've got to think of what, you know, am I going to have to attack? Am I going to have to defend? What's going to be the best situation? And now we ride on board with Simon Edwards. Looking at the last lap times, Jamie Bird 1 minute 20.2, Edwards mid 1 minute 20.0, Gonzaga 1 minute 19.9. And on general race pace, Gonzaga has been quicker than the two in front. But here comes Simon Edwards on the run down hilltop. He's got through. He's half a car length in front. What's going to be the response from Jamie Bird going into Knickerbrook? He doesn't really fight it. No. Doesn't really fight it, but still keeps within 3/10. But he's also going to have to fend off Jorge Gonzaga, who was right up his rear wing, going through into Knickerbrook. So this is like a pendulum swing at the moment. It's going either Edwards' way, or it's going Bird's way, or it could very soon go Gonzaga's way. But anyway, anything can happen in the next few laps.
Yeah, Gonzaga's closing in. You can see over the last sectors as well on this circuit. There's 7 sectors. I think we need to have a word with iRacing about that.
There was a synchronised pause between the pair of us as well when you said that.
Yeah, that's just very bizarre, but there we go. But Gonzaga, Bird, Edwards are battling out for the last podium spot. It's whether or not Bird can stay with Simon Edwards here, or will he struggle to get the job done? He's got to stay with him, because Gonzaga hasn't been a slouch tonight. Gonzaga's been quick, and I think he deserves that podium spot if he can get there, but he's now going to be tucked in behind Jamie Bird. Here we go once more. Bird's giving him a squeeze. Oh, Jamie Bird squeezing him through goes Gonzaga. Job done. Now he's free to go after Simon Edwards. Bird's coming around the outside though. Up through Clay Hill they go, coming into the water tower. Bird just does not get far enough on side to worry Gonzaga, and Gonzaga says thank you very much.
I think also one of the things that Jamie Bird doesn't want to have happen is 2 incidents in the same race. Of course, he's been the one that's been the unfortunate instigator of turn 1, lap 1 incidents in both heats here at Oulton Park. What he didn't want was a north of 110 mile an hour moment when he collects Jorge Gonzaga, and Bird just has a big old Code Brown moment as the back was all over the shop coming out of Old Hall.
Yeah, somebody's going to run off to Primark to get Mr. Bird a new pair of underpants. They do some wonderful Grogu boxer shorts at the moment as well. So if you want to get yourself a set of Grogu boxer shorts from Primark, off you go. Other clothes shops are available. We have no affiliation with Primark whatsoever. I just thought I'd get that in before get somebody having a go at me. That is our disclaimer, as these guys are getting more and more spread out. Like 14 of 17. Buson slowly coming back at Barry here, Alex, bit by bit. He's got the gap down at 4/10. Is this the moment that Barry's burnt up his tyres on lap 14?
Difficult to say, but in the meantime, Luke Maxwell closing in on Jamie Bird for what is 5th position on the road. So Jamie Bird has lost a bit of time to Gonzaga. That's about 9/10 of a second. But yeah, Buson, as I said, he might have been on that conservation strategy, and then he might decide, well, okay, we've got 2 laps to go. I'm going to go give it the berries, give it the beans, and just see what happens. And of course, one of the things that he won't want to do is have an incident with James Barry, because if he's the one that instigates it, it could mean that not just Barry but Buson could both fall foul of contact and then be off the circuit, which then might give the opportunity to Simon Edwards, who is 4.1 seconds behind at this point, let's not forget. But of course, Simon Edwards, you know, one of the things that we've known over previous seasons, especially the 6 where he's taken the title, that he has been the one that has always had that run of consistency.
Yeah. Buson's teetering on 4.5 tenths here, down to 3. Can he keep? This is where he's got to be brave now. Come on, Mike. You've got to do it for the men down in Somerset here. He's up 3 tenths, 2 tenths, 2.827. How close is he going to get on? Can last season's champion, Mr. James Barry, well deserved, mind you, he did a great job throughout last season, hold on to Mike Buson with 2 laps to go. Buson closes right in through the first half of the for the second half of the lap, but then these opening sectors go a little bit awry. He needs to tidy up the first couple of sectors here to stay with Barry on the bit of the lap that he is quicker, and that's the run generally on the run down from Shell Oils all the way down into Lodge Corner. So he's got to tidy it up a little bit, and this was one of them. You can see he just loses nearly a tenth just going around Cascades on his own.
Yeah, it looks like Jamie Bird and Luke Maxwell are swapping positions like a gun at the moment. And, well, Maxwell is not giving up quite yet, battling with Jamie Bird as they go through in towards Island Bend, and now hard of the brakes into Shell Oil's corner. Oh, lock up from Bird! Lock up from Bird, and Maxwell's right on his rear bumper. Right on his rear bumper. That was so close to being an instant right there.
Yeah, I literally thought Luke was going to go and join the back end of Jamie Bird's SR10. Now to the left-hand side we go. Maxwell in the orange 118, JPB, Jamie Bird there. That's the initials of his son on the front, not JB Broadcast. I did get all excited when I asked him, but no, it is initials of his child on the front of his car there. He has a big old lock-up. Maxwell goes through. Now this is the one for Buson. He's got to try and stay with him. He loses a little bit more time. No, he's gained it more than he's lost it now. Can the man that got the final lap of the race, Mike Buson in that orange 666, James Barry, last season's defending champion from the insert name e-racing team, which is absolutely amazing, in first place. Buson's got to tidy up Cascades. He loses still again, about 10th again going through Cascades there, Alex. He just can't tidy it up.
He's got to go hell for leather now. As soon as they come out of Shell Oil's corner, it's win it or bin it for Mike Buson right about now. He keeps it a little bit tighter to the apex, swings the car out wide, and now this is where we're going to see Barry start to expand that gap. It's over half a second now, but Buson's starting to close, but it's not quick enough. The closing rate is not quick enough for Mike Buson to challenge James Barry. It's going to be just about 3.5 tenths as they go through Knickerbock for the final time. Barry has got this, I think, pretty much sewn up, but it's dependent on what Buson does now, going through in towards Druids, and then it's going to be underneath the Warwick Bridge for the final time. It's going to be close.
Yeah, he was too slow through Druids. He's too slow. He lost some of the momentum he had, and it's going to be James Barry, 2 out of 2. The defending champion is back. The warrior is fighting it out there. 2 out of 2. Mike Bousson just couldn't do it. Simon Edwards comes over in 3rd. George Gonzaga in 4th. Then Luke Maxwell behind with Jamie Bird in 5th and 6th. Paul Clark's going to come over the line in 7th place. He's had Damien G not too far. G starts dropping off towards the end of the race. Phil, that was on pole, is all the way down into 9th place there, Phil Glover, and Michael LeMay is going to come over the line, and Michael LeMay is all the way back there due to this incident. So what did he do, Mr. Michael LeMay? He's gone straight on. He's too quick.
Oi, into the kiddie litter.
Yeah. Unfortunate for Michael LeMay there. He was having a rather exciting race. So let's bring you up the results from race 2, and I think we can agree that was an absolute classic banger there as well. James Barry, 2 out of 2 this evening, takes the maximum points here as well. James Barry walking away with this evening with 65 points in his pocket, depending on his bonus points if he got some clean racing. I'll be very surprised because he was hammering it there as well. Mike Bousson in 2nd place, Simon Edwards in 3rd, then George Gonzaga in 4th, Luke Maxwell 5th, Jamie Bird in 6th, Paul Clark 7th, Damien G 8th, Phil Glover 9th, and Michael LeMay in 10th. Then John McCutchinson, who had that massive moment going out of Knickerbrook. We've seen it before, didn't we, in practice, Alex, as well, and it was almost a carbon copy of James Barry's incident with David Beasley having his own, and Seth Brown, of course, getting caught out right at the beginning. I'll tell you what we do. We got Phil Glover sitting in the interview room. Let's have a chat with Phil. Phil, welcome in, dear sir. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Did you enjoy that?
Sorry, say that again.
Did you enjoy that?
I certainly. Well, no, I didn't actually. To start off first and watch everybody overtake you is not great.
What do you think the difference was, Phil?
I don't know, but you're coming out under my feet again. Windows has done its usual trick and reset all my sound settings, so I can just about hear you.
Nice. It's good to know that I'm looking up at your big toe, Mr. Glover, there as well. Very exciting. Yeah, Windows did the same thing for me this week, mate. It decided to update my PC, and I had sound coming out of everywhere rather than my headset. So I feel your pain on that one. Phil, interested even in a racing for you. Done rather well as well. Obviously a struggle being on pole, and then everybody else going past you. But moving on now as well. We're going off to the. We're going off to. Where are we going? We're not going. We are certainly not going to Red Bull Ring, aren't we? Yeah, we're going to the Red Bull Ring next week, Phil. What do you reckon? You're gonna go and get a win for me?
I'll try my best, but I'm not hopeful for that one.
All right, Phil. Well, I'm going to be in the sunny country of Spain next week, so I'll watch and praise you all the way from España, Phil. So you have to go out and get the victory.
I'll try my best for you, James.
All right, mate. Anyone you want to shout out, buddy, before we let you go?
Yeah, Microsoft.
Oh,
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
all right, mate.
Yeah. Anyway, you're tickling my feet, so I'm gonna have to log you off.
All right, mate. Have fun. Take care. Bye. Oh dear, what a disturbing thought.
And now we return to our usual programming here on JP Broadcasting.
Oh dear me, what a disturbing thought of tickling Phil Glover's feet. But let's have a chat with the man that went 2 out of 2 this evening. The champion is back in the affray. He's come back booming. He's out to defend it. He's like Mike Tyson with the gloves on this evening, and he absolutely smashed it round Oulton Park, having a right little ding dong, but got the knockout blow on Mike Bousson. James Barry, welcome in, son. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Amazing intro, I love that.
Oh, thanks, mate. No worries. You know, I like to sing your praises. I did for most of last season, mate. You did a stellar job here again. 2 out of 2. Nice little haul of points.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, my first time winning both races in this series, so happy with that. First race, really good fight with Simon, and yeah, we had a little coming together, got a little 4x, but it was just close, hard racing there. Then second race, obviously all a bit chaotic at the start. I did kind of push Simon out of the way looking at the replay, so I'm sorry to him for that. I had George diving behind me, and I got a bit scared and went up for Simon's inside, and yeah, just got it a bit wrong there. But then after that, obviously, just head down and had to get the job done.
Yeah, and you did it. And you did it. You caught up with Mike. You managed to get past him as well. Mike was going for it. It was really weird, right? Because you had him for the first half of the lap, and then Mike was quicker for the second half. And he was coming at you, James, every single lap, pulling you down to about 2 tenths. Then you'd get it out through cascades up to 4, and he'll bring it back down again as well. Is there anything you can do when you know, if you're in the car and you know that's happening? Like, he was quicker than you over that second half of that lap.
No, all you can do is, if you just drive to your maximum pace when you have pace like I did, then you can stay ahead. I just trusted that if I just didn't make mistakes, then I'd have enough pace to have enough of a gap. And the crucial corner is obviously that hairpin before the straight, and I was quite fast on the exit there. He wasn't able to get close to me on the exit, so I knew I was kind of safe.
Oh, well, I tell you what, he was close a couple of times, James, there as well. Moving on next week, off to the Red Bull Ring. Are we going to see you on track, young sir?
Yeah, of course. I'm always here.
Awesome stuff. Well, thanks so much for joining us, James. It's been a pleasure, as it always is. Well done on your 2 victories, mate. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Just shout out everyone in the league, and really good pace today again. So it's always good fun. So thank you, everyone.
Awesome stuff. All right, James, take care. I'm not here next week, mate, but have a good one, and I look forward to watching it.
All right, gorgeous. See you. Thanks.
Right, and next up, I'm going to bring Mike in last because he'll talk for England. So we're going to have a chat with Mr. Simon Edwards, second in race 1, third in race 2. He's a wily old fox. He's been around this block before. Is he worried this early on about the championship? Probably not, but let's see how his evening went. Simon Edwards, welcome in, son. How are you?
I'm good. No, I enjoyed that race. Second race, I couldn't do any more than that because I'd got a bit of damage from a first lap contact, so I'm really happy with third in that second race.
It was a good race. James did say that he had George diving up the inside of him as well, and he got a bit scared, and he did end up making contact with you, which he did apologise for as well. But isn't that just hard racing when it's so chaotic over the opening beginning?
Yeah, I was trying to stay wide enough so somebody did have room either side of me, but they were all checking up. So it's not blaming anybody. It just hit me directly in the wheel, which is sort of the worst place. but it was drivable. So I probably only lost a couple of tenths the lap. I just had to drive it a bit different in the left-handers. Still made forward progress. Had a good overtake on Paul Clark. I had to play chicken.
Oh, that's not easy to do with Paul, is it?
No. So yeah, I was glad that I managed to make that one stick.
Going forward, young sir, Red Bull Ring next week. Off tracks are plenty, as we know how tight it can be there. What do we think?
I like Red Bull Ring because you have to take all the downforce off, and I'm more used to that. So yeah, it's a pity the gearing in this car won't be really any good there though, because we'll be caught between short gears and standard gears. So it might be a big toe fest of either hitting the rev limiter or easy passes. Let's hope it's neither of those.
Yeah, definitely don't want that one, mate, as well, because I think Red Bull could be an epic thing, but as I say, depending on how everybody else runs as well. Simon, it's been a pleasure talking to you, as it always has been. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
I'll give a shout out for Phil. He was holding his own there at the beginning of the race. He didn't get caught and flew off. He might have done when I got past him, I don't know. But he looked like he was holding his own. Jamie as well. I'll give those two a shout out.
Yeah, Jamie did rather well until there was a bit of an off as well. But Simon, always a pleasure, and I look forward to watching the broadcast next week.
Yeah. Okay.
Take care.
See you then. Bye.
Right, and next up now here as well is Mr. Mike Buson. He finished 5th in race 1. He's finished 2nd in race 2. He had a right little ding-dong. Does he regret missing out on the lead? Well, let's find out here as well. Mike, welcome in. How are you, sir?
Good. Yourselves?
I'm very well.
Good.
Listen,
Good.
before we go anywhere, do you think you could have defended harder against James Barry going into Knickerbrook?
To be fair, in hindsight, I shouldn't have yielded because I thought to myself, I've got the pace. That's fine. I'll get a run on him later on, but just kept making micro mistakes all the time after that, just trying to push and get back onto him. You know, once I was onto him, it was just a case of just little mistakes everywhere. So in hindsight, I should have just defended the position harder.
Especially as he was on the outside as well, because the only way he would have gone is on that grass if he would have been there. I can tell you where you're making your mistakes if you really want to. It was the first half of the lap. So Old Hall, Cascades, down through Islands, and then coming out of Shells, on through the second half of the lap, you were quicker than Mr. Barry. So it was that first half of that lap there, Mike. You were losing nearly a tenth going through Cascades on its own.
Hold on, I didn't ask you to tell me. You didn't even give me the option. You just told me.
You said you were making micro mistakes everywhere. Well, I'm telling you it wasn't everywhere. It was just the first half of the lap. Well, I'm trying to give you the information to say it was just the first half. You were amazing the second half, Mike. Listen, I'll blow smoke up you a little bit more if you need to. You were stellar over the second half of the lap, mate, but it was just that first part of the lap, that first half of the lap where them mistakes were creeping in.
Well, I do apologise. I will try harder next time.
Hey, I thought you were going to get it, Mike. I thought you were going to get it. I really did.
Yeah, to be fair, I thought myself it was on, but not to be. But still a good result.
Yeah, it was. You got 5th in race 1, 2nd in race 2 as well. All right, realistically, Mike, and I don't think we've had these chats with you before. Where do you see your championship this season? Are we going to see you up there to break that duck, Mike? Are we going to see it this season?
I don't think I'm consistent enough at the moment to be able to do it. You know, if I'm being honest with myself, you know, I'm hopeful for a few race wins, and within the top 3 would be nice. But you know, it would be a hard push for me. The time I just don't have to put into practice. So I don't think I'm going to beat the likes of, say, Barry, Simon, John, and Luke that often. To be fair, is being honest.
No, you have to spend more time in the SR10 rather than the John Deere, sir. I can tell you that much. Anyone you want to shout out, Mr. Mike Buson?
I haven't prepared anything nice. We'll give it to James for an excellent race, or 2 race wins tonight.
Yeah, he's first time he's had a double race win in the series tonight. Yeah. So he's broken his duck, Mike. We just need you to go and get that champ win.
No pressure at all, then.
No, well, I'm not here next week, mate, so you can relax a little bit.
Hey, what we got next week? What?
What have you got, or who have you got?
What have we got? What race have we got next
You got Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, it should be all right.
All right, well, I'm not here, so you enjoy yourself.
Oh, who's in next week?
I'll be in.
You got Alex and Dean, the Australian.
Okay. Foreigners everywhere nowadays. It's not like a good old days.
Oh my God!
No, that's cool. No, you have a well-deserved week off, mate. I'm sure the broadcast will be better for it.
Bye, Mike.
To be fair, I have to listen back to it. Yeah, I'll drop a message, let you know if it's better than usual.
All right, mate. Enjoy yourself. I'll catch you later.
Catch you later, boys.
Bye. Oh my God.
You know what? I might as well nickname Mike Buson Low Blow Buson.
Oh, dearie me, mate. I tell you what, he can be a man who can put a welly on and go and stamp in the biggest pile of cow doo-doo ever, because he just puts his foot in it without thinking there as well. You know what I mean? Apologies if anybody got offended about his foreign comment. He was only joking on that one as well. But another great night of racing, Alex, I think, overall as well.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to watch out for the Red Bull rig for round 3 next week. It's set to be a corker. Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, this is a great championship. We've had close racing all night. Bring it on for round 3 next week, buddy.
Money? Money?
See, I got my words mixed out. Mixed out? There.
Oh,
Ventures, fixed them. At least you won't need to worry about them next week.
No, definitely not. I'm not here next week, guys. I am in sunny Spain with the family, so I look forward to that one as well. But for now, guys, join us later on when we got the triple bypass going off. We got the Xfinity at Rockingham, and that should be a very exciting race on that one. Don't forget, on Sunday as well, we've got the Super Formula Lights. We've got Fridays off, Saturdays off this week, but it will be picking back up in July, so stay tuned for that one. But for now, guys, I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside my good friend, Mr. Alex Goldschmidt, as always. For now, take care, have a great week, and you never know, we may see you on the track sometime. Good night.